Powered by Virginia Radio.
We appreciate it. Y'all know me. I'm Bigg AL the H.N.I.C, and you are joining the podcast, Let Me Say Something. I have a guest on who said she wanted to say something. Okay, she said I got something to say. I want to say something. Okay, so we're gonna let her come in and say something. But this is y'all know she's all over the city. Okay, she's all over the city. She's all over the Facebook page, Twitter, everywhere. She's everywhere. Okay, and this is Yugonda Sample-Jones. Yugonda.
Hey,
how are you? How you doing?
I'm well. It's very strategic where I'm at. So I'm not everywhere. I'm just strategically placed in places that will help our people take over.
Okay. Well, I saw you on the rooftop.
That's the new housing coming down.
Yeah. You do an awful lot. Power by Virginia, we don't get invited to those places, but it's okay. It's okay. Because we can give a little shine to the neighborhood.
Y'all came to the grant writing class.
Yep, months ago.
Know what?
but listen, she does an awful lot here, and I would introduce her as far as the type, but I'm gonna let her do that. Okay, Yugonda Sample-Jones, tell us who you are.
All right, so I am the CEO, the founder of Empower All, which we are a community engagement business. We connect people with reliable resources throughout the state of Virginia. I'm also proud to serve as a chair of the Citizens Advisory Committee, and that's passionate to me because it's downtown, the place that I call home. Mm-hmm. And downtown Newport News is where a lot of different projects are going on. There's a lot of attention going on. Mm-hmm. It's changing, so we need to make sure that people understand what that change means and are engaged in the process to be able to invest and really enjoy the new neighborhood that's coming downtown.
Okay. Any other titles you have there?
I also serve as but all of them weave together, and we'll talk about that later. But I also serve as a Newport News Neighborhood Watch Coalition president, and with that, I'm empowered to be able to just help neighbors care for the neighbor that's right next door.
Care for the neighbor? What, they bring them food or something?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. We have funding to support you in cleanups. If you want to do a cookout, a block party, we can assist you with that if you decide to set a neighborhood watch up on your block.
Well, I'm always down for a good party. So I'm just saying, so I just talked to you, and I'm in Hampton, though, so they probably won't do Hampton. They won't do Hampton. That's all right. That's all right. Listen, so the advisory committee.
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
So the advisory committee is actually where you saw me on the rooftop. Mm-hmm. I was it's actually a rooftop venue in the Lift and Rise, which are the new apartments that are on 27th and 28th Street on Jefferson Avenue.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. So that's a part of the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, and they're actually how apartments that the relocated residents have first choice in coming back to.
By the way, if you guys haven't been past those apartments, they are very, very nice.
They are.
And I didn't know they had a rooftop that you could walk on and sit out. I had no idea, but they're very, very nice.
Yeah, it's a TV up there. They're putting lawn furniture up there. So it's showing people that we deserve a different lifestyle. We can level up and take care of it in our community.
Okay. Now, can those that are government assistant live there?
Yeah, so it's actually 34 or 38 apartments are set aside. I believe both complexes, north and south, are 84 apartments altogether, 4 townhomes, which are very nice. They're 3 levels. But the 38 apartments are set aside for Ridley residents. So if you know anybody who was displaced because Ridley Circle was torn down, please have them get engaged with Urban Strategies. They are the organization that's in charge of the people plan. And they're the ones that are responsible for making sure that residents receive that financial literacy, budgeting, homeowners education, just any information that they need to be able to bridge this wealth gap.
Okay. Edmund, can we hear her? Can we hear her? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay. All right, because she pulls away from the mic sometimes. That's why I'm asking. Okay. I said she pulls away from the mic, so that's why I was asking the question. But she's good.
I be animated.
Well, I know. You're animating, leaning back. Listen, that's great. I got to admit though, you guys have some projects that are seem to be going on forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I was going down Jefferson, heading towards the water,
mhm.
and I think it was 16th Street.
Yes.
You know, and you guys have that big old thing that's been sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. What's going on with that?
So you're talking about 16th and Jefferson?
Yes.
All right. So right there, we actually did demolition last year. We had a nice little ceremony, goodbye ceremony for Ridley, but we did demolition last year, and this year it's like we actually broke ground. So when you are on the corner of Jefferson and 16th, you see the elevator towers are being put up. That's a part of uh, the 4-story housing that's coming back to the community. Mm-hmm. And then on the other side, it's going to be a school. So we're going to have an early childhood school. We're also going to have Virginia Peninsula Community College come in the nighttime and have a pipeline education. So people who want to get into teaching, early childhood education, they can come and take classes at night, and a pipeline will get them into employment.
Okay, sounds good. I like that.
Yeah.
So you're saying that eventually something's going to be put up?
Eventually.
Okay.
But it's funny, if you follow any project throughout the city, you start with your planning commission, and the things that they vote on today, you might not see break ground until a year and a year and a half later.
Why is that?
It takes time. Permits, breaking ground, finding out what's underneath the ground, and with studies that need to be done on the soil and everything that are required federally and at the state level. So it's a lot of processing in the weeds that go into building a brick and mortar location.
Okay. All righty. Now, for those of you that don't know, Uganda was running for city councilman.
Oh, wow.
Okay, last
city
year.
Councilwoman.
Well, okay, city council woman, city council person. Yeah. Okay, she wanted to be on the city council. Right. Alrighty, and she had some great ideas. We brought her on here a couple of times, man, and she had some great ideas. And we were all pulling for you, just so you know. We were all pulling for you because we wanted to have that person in there that really cared about us. Mm-hmm. Now, you didn't win. Okay, so what did you learn from that? What happened? Why didn't you win? What did you learn from that?
Well, I can't say why I didn't win. I did my best. Get myself out here, because I am kind of like an introvert. Not meaning that I'm scared to talk. It's just that I need my balance time. I have to, be able to regroup. But through that,
that's what he's for, though.
That's true. But through the election time, I really learned that it is okay to come out here and speak my truth. Mm-hmm. And people are receptive to it, and most of the time a lot of people feel the same way that I do.
Right.
So we have to empower each other to be able to speak our own truths, to be able to heal what's happening in our community. Mm-hmm. That's how our ancestors, we came together and told stories. And that's how the younger generation learned not to do certain things through the stories that we told.
So are you saying that you didn't do that?
What do you mean?
Well, you said that you didn't really know why you lost.
I wasn't really doing that.
You're an introvert, etc. So I'm saying, are you telling me that you did not do that?
I did
enough.
I did not do that enough. I'm not to put anything against anyone who is in office, because I feel like people get elected for different reasons. But I'm not just someone who is interested in showing up and taking pictures. I'd rather find out what the organization is doing and find ways to connect the dots and collaborate to create a larger impact, a collective impact.
You do realize that I've seen you on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, everything else, right? Okay, but
I have gotten comfortable with that because it's a way to get the message out. So if I don't see anyone else on Facebook telling people that live in a 23607 to hold on to your houses and don't sell your houses because your property value is going up. I don't see other people sharing information about the grassroots organizations that are doing the work. I have a lady that's on Chestnut Avenue, and she feeds the community every fourth Sunday or every last Sunday of the month. And she's phenomenal. And just by us doing those lives and showing what she does, now she has support from social services. Even the Commissioner of Revenue was coming down to help her serve meals. The last month
out of her house?
Out of her house, on her front yard. Last month she served over 183 people.
You know, if we had known about this lady, we could have had her on the show. But we didn't know anything about this at all. This
Well,
is my first time hearing about
everybody
it.
doesn't do it
you know.
for a show.
And I used to be a member of the church there, St. Paul ME on that's on 20, but that's okay.
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 Well, we're going to get y'all incorporated some things.
Yeah. Okay. I just saw it, Powered by Virginia Radio Network. Powered by Virginia Radio Network.
And y'all are everywhere anyway.
You know what? No, we're not everywhere now. We're not everywhere. We're not everywhere. So you ran for city council,
Yes.
and I can personally attest to the fact that she was footing it. She was hoofing it. She was hoofing it everywhere. She was hoofing it everywhere. I mean, there's a thing about working hard and working smart. She worked hard, and I would say that one of the reasons is that you may have not been able to catch up is because you were working hard and maybe not so smart. In certain instances, that's not an insult. It's a campaign. Okay, it's a campaign.
I'm not a campaign type.
And like I said, if you're not that person out there throwing a handshake, kissing babies and all this kind of stuff and saying what people want to hear, and that is a slight to some of y'all out there that ran for office at one, what people want to hear, you may not win the office. And plus I think you're outspent.
Yeah, well, a lot of it is understanding, and what I brought was the knowledge of how to maneuver through a government system. I was meeting people that didn't even know that the mayor doesn't really have that much power, and the power lies within the city manager's department, and the city manager in turn hires the police chief. People don't understand basic civics, so a lot of my time in campaigning was spent teaching people just how to maneuver through the issues that were invading their lives. I helped people get into houses through the campaign, connected people to so many organizations, but that's my passion, is making sure that people don't waste their time out here with organizations that aren't doing the work, but actually being connected with real resources.
And see, that's where I had an issue, a slight issue, and I know what you did. I know it's in your heart to do that, etc. But I was like, listen, just campaign, just campaign. And then when you get the office, then you go back and do all that stuff, But you were kind of doing everything at the same time, okay? And once again.
But that's the beauty of it. I didn't know that there was organizations that are focused on helping people with disabilities be able to live independently. Now the people that I come across when I'm doing my community walks or when I'm in a community, I can direct them to these organizations that I wouldn't have had any knowledge of if I didn't run for office. So I never regret the experience, because the only thing it did was level me up to a space that I could really advocate smartly for my people and connect them with people who are actually doing the work.
So when you run for office again, what are you going to do differently?
Well, you put words in my mouth. I didn't say I was running for office again.
Well, you didn't say you weren't. Okay? And we need you. We need you. I've heard her ideas, guys. Look up some of my shows, a couple of my shows. So when you run for office again, okay, what are you going to do differently?
I will have a team of people that know what they're doing, because I taught my team a lot going along the way. And I would definitely have a team of people who are familiar with the politics. So the only thing I have to do is share my light, spread my light, and keep it moving.
Okay. And guys, in case you wonder who I'm sitting with, y'all know I'm Bigg Al. I'm sitting with Yugonda Sample-Jones. You want to give us a call and say hello to her, or give her some ideas, or whatever you want to do, give us a call, 757-964-9367, 797-964-9367. Now, how did your family handle you campaigning like you do? Because I know you were everywhere, and you can't lie because your husband's sitting right over there. Okay? Matter of fact, let me ask him.
My husband is the strong, solid type. He holds me down, and he knows that I have dreams. I'm very passionate about things. He hears it on the other side at home, and he's just the person that is meant for me. We fit like peas and carrots.
Oh, peas and carrots. Mr. Jones, listen to that. You hear what she said, right?
Yeah, I heard it.
Was it peas and what now?
Peas and carrots.
Okay,
he don't like peas, so he's a carrot.
Yeah, I don't eat that stuff. But anyway, okay. All the words for you, though.
That's for honey, but he He's a truck driver, so he's out of the house a lot, but he supports me in so many ways, and I'm just so appreciative. And I found him in the alley. We were at the Wild Out Wednesday at the alley about 13 years ago.
Oh! I'm about to say. I thought you meant an alley.
So y'all can find love in the alley.
Ben, you want to comment on that? You want to comment on that, Ben? He said, just her husband is here. And listen, you've been holding her down for a long time, man. I give you props for that. Any husband that's holding their wife down like that, man, is exceptional. How do you feel about it?
When you see somebody that's that passionate about what is going on in the community, all you can do is stand behind them and let them go. So that's basically what I do. Plus, I work a lot, and it keeps her occupied. Hey, as long as I know she's out there,
really.
Everybody else sees, I know what she's doing.
Yeah, there's no picture. There's no picture of her. Okay, yeah, she's good. All right. Yeah, been appreciated, man. Okay, keep holding her down, my friend.
Thank you, honey pie.
All righty. Now you came on the show because you said you had some things that you wanted to say that you could just get off your chest. Okay, let it rip.
Oh, goodness. Well, I mean, it's a lot of things. Like in the climate that we're in, not only in Virginia, but across the United States, it's like we have to wake up. We have to understand that, especially because I work in housing, and that's where a lot of my anguish comes from, is people that I work with that may haven't paid rent or didn't have it or not making enough to pay rent. And it is frustrating because no one is coming to save us. Right. No one is coming to pay our rent for us. No one's coming to give you partial payments. You have to work. And even now, with landlords requesting that you make 3 times the rent, it's putting people in a position where I've seen women either commit fraud because they're creating paycheck stubs, or they have to end up living with someone that maybe they don't want to live with, or put themselves in such situations that aren't ideal just so they can have a roof over their head.
Now I'm going to play devil's advocate because it's what I do. But could it be said that the reason why the climate is like you said today is because of what happened yesterday? In other words, there was a time when people you were given a grace period. Okay, you didn't have to pay, etc. A lot of people, instead of holding on to that money, they were buying new cars, new clothes, jewelry, things like that. And the landlord still had to keep paying that money for the upkeep of the building, for the taxes and everything else. Even though the government said, hey, you don't have to pay the landlord, don't worry about that guy. He has plenty of money. Well, a lot of landlords, oddly enough, don't have a whole lot of money. Okay, they got just enough money, which is not the same as a lot of money. So they're trying to maintain the building, they're trying to keep everything, but there's no cash flow. So is it possible that the reason why it's like it is now is because of the bad decision that those people made back then?
I would say that we don't make, some people, they might not make the best decisions when it comes to finance. And it may be things of lack of financial literacy. But the same way that we shift the blame on the people who did not have that knowledge or didn't make the right mistake, how come we're not asking the banks? How come we're not asking our policymakers, instead of putting laws into place that put barriers for people to have a moral right like housing? Why not go to the banks and say, okay, well, let's work out something so that these landlords that are in these positions can draw money out discretionary funds. Every bank has a discretionary fund. Sure. Just something to look at the other side of it. We understand that there's people that might not do the right thing with their money. They go and blow it instead of paying their bills, or they robbing Peter to pay Paul. They might not have all their rent this month, pay half, and then have to put the other half of their money on an electric bill. This is serious. Why always come at them as if they're the problem? Why not make sure that we're providing the access to the information like financial literacy? I just, for giggles, I Google financial literacy classes to see who offered them. All of them were offered during the daytime when people go to work. They're offered through a bank, and usually they're free if you're with that bank. But I know so many people that are with, what is it, Charm? They don't even have a building. It's online.
I know it's online,
You know,
right,
and
right.
it's so many different ways. So where are the classes that's just teaching people how to manage your money? Or
Well, okay, let me just and you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. However, that should be taught as a regular course, as a regular class. It should be taught
In the school
in
system,
junior high,
right?
in middle school. It should be taught in elementary, not elementary, maybe, but middle school, high school. That's where it should be taught.
And it's not.
So it's not. Now, if it's not taught there, then it should be taught by parents. But if parents don't know, if parents don't know, they can't teach. Your parents don't care, they won't teach. So the problem keeps going. And I hear what you're saying. But my major point is, when are we going to help ourselves? Why do we keep depending on the government to do that? Why do we keep depending on other people? Why can't we help ourselves? Why can't we pull together? Just for the record, I'm putting together a financial literacy course that we'll be going on next year. So I'm trying to get some people involved. And I feel very strongly about it. And I feel very strongly that a lot of people have bad credit. A lot of people are ignorant about debt. I used to work at a debt collection company.
Okay.
And the guy, I talked to this the guy said, well, I don't owe y'all nothing. I said, what do you mean? He said, because y'all took the car back. I said, sir, you got the car because your loan was approved. Once your loan is approved, you have to pay back that loan. The person that sold you the car has nothing else to do with that at that point. They got paid. He could not understand this.
And it looks like a basic knowledge of contracting. I can't tell you the number of people that when they have a barrier, they're turned away for housing. Usually they come to me, but they get my name or phone number some kind of way. I'm like, Uganda can work it out. So the first thing I do is go to their court history and look at their judgments. And I can't tell you the amount of people who say, well, I don't owe that because I moved out the apartment. You still signed a lease. You still owe that balance.
Right.
So just a basic knowledge of what a contract, a lease looks like. There's people that don't understand what a lease looks like.
Isn't that because they get information like, the grandmother did it, the mama did it, now I'm doing it.
So what if grandma was in public housing? Literally, before Ridley Circle was torn down, I had a lady, I love her to pieces. She's still in Newport News, but she's 84 now. Right? She might be about 86. But either way, when I met her, she was in her 80s. She just turned 80. She had never been past J. Clyde Morris her entire life. Her children lived in public housing.
Right.
Her grandchildren lived in public housing, and her great-grandchildren lived in public housing. So why aren't we talking to our elected officials if we have public housing? Well, that's a whole nother thing because the state is turning away from public housing and going to what's called rental assistance demonstration, where you have to have income. But with these programs, even like subsidized housing, because places like used to be Walker Village, Newport Harbor, Stewart Gardens. These places are subsidized housing. They're not under the housing authority, but a portion of the rent is subsidized by the federal government. Why can't we put requirements there that say, hey, if you have a tenant that's behind on their $14 rent, require them to go to a financial literacy class?
Yeah, but if your rent is $9, what's it, $9, $14?
How can you even fathom a house budget if your rent is $9 and then you get evicted out of that because your children are out here fighting, and then you're put in the real world paying $900,000, $1,100? We're setting people up to fail.
I don't know about that, because first of all, the failure is that you have generations in the same location. That's the failure. The failure is that you still didn't uplift your children or your children's children to be better than you and uplift them and try to find. And that says you didn't try.
How do you know what's better if you're in survivor mode all the time?
Well,
I think the failure is.
But if you're in survivor mode all the time, that's a problem.
Exactly.
That's a problem. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying. Listen, I've talked to a number of some people. Like one woman in particular. Her kids are bigger than her. They're like 18 and 19. They don't have a job. They get in drugs. So I said, what? I said, put them in the military.
Yeah.
She goes, "Oh, I don't want to go to the military."
Well, that's her fault.
I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She said, "Well, they can get killed." I said, "They're in the streets.
They can get.
They're in the streets of Newport News. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
You know, and if they're going to carry, at least I know how to carry one, how to break it
teach
down,
them
how to
the
put it,
discipline in it.
yeah, and what it can do, etc. I said, well, you know, she was adamant about her kids, her sons, who are rather worthless. She's watching my show right now, and I know she is. Yes, they are worthless. You know, and she did not want them to go to the military. I'm just saying, I hear what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm just saying that there are things that we as we as parents, we as a culture, have to be responsible for. You know, we have, you know, we're the only culture, and this is on one of my shows, that will exemplify and put up their prison culture. You know, we're the only ones. You know, there's nobody else walking around with pants below their butts and really nice underwear, and demanding respect. You know, so I don't disagree with what you're saying. You know, but there's only but so much that the government can do without us interfering. You know, the government's not. You know, you don't see Asians going to the government or Hispanic thing. You know, they're doing it themselves. You know, even the West Indies, Caribbean. I know people that got 3 generations in a house, and they keep them in, and they don't move out of the house till the next one gets a house, and then they bring the other Caribbeans home. Then the next one gets a house, and they keep doing that. When I was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that's what I saw. The guys, people coming across the water illegally, then they become legal some type of way, et cetera, and so forth. And there's like 9 or 10 or 12 in a house, you know, and they stayed that way until they got everybody worked. You know, it's not a matter of whether you like the job or not. It's a matter of are you working and bringing in income.
That's right.
You know, so my point is that I think a lot of times we as in those people in social lack the discipline that it takes to succeed, because I'm not gonna. There's no way in the world I'm gonna be 3 generations in and still asking the government to help me do this, that, the other. There's no way. You know, but that's just one man's opinion.
It is. It definitely is, and I definitely respect that opinion. But let's talk about sorry, because I'm sitting back, right? So a couple of things that you said that you mentioned, Hispanics. You mentioned that they leave their country, they leave their culture, they know their culture, they know their roots, they know what they're grounded to, and they come here and they're able to work for that culture. They're tied to something.
Oh, I know where you're going with this. Go ahead. Go ahead. I got something for you though. Go ahead.
No, because I had it, because I knew this was going to come up in our conversations, and we talked about this a lot. But those demographics that you're talking about, who has been, none of them have been just orchestrated genocide is what has been put on our people on so many levels through systematic racism after slavery. You know, I mean, I feel like these things are tied.
You mean after slavery in 1865?
Absolutely. But then we got to look at the white privilege resistance after the civil rights. And we got to look at housing injustice or discrimination, like Levittown, where black people couldn't get.
Yeah, I've been to Levittown many times. First of all, why do we have to look at that? Why do we have to look back at that like that?
Because it's still a system that is embedded in our policies today. I have white neighbors that live right next door to us, and we ask them, why y'all come down here, like the downtown Newport News, because they came from Williamsburg. I'm like, oh, it was easy for us to get along.
Yeah.
Me and my husband work. We have rather good jobs. Because of the zip code that we're in, is difficult. Redlining policies still exist.
Still exists, even though they said it doesn't.
And as far as home ownership, I know we talked about, like, you've been a homeowner. Your parents were a homeowner.
True.
Were grandparents? Like,
yes.
Okay. So it's in your lineage. What about people that were coming off the sticks, don't have a home, their family didn't build that type of wealth?
Well, I can't say it was easy, but you know, but my great grandfather, you know, he was the son of a bitch. He would kill you. I mean, he was just, you know, it was always talked about own property, own property, own property. You know, it was always talked about in my family, own property, own property. You know, and we're also taught, you know, don't ever think there's nothing you can't do. You know, when I talked to the person who owns the radio station, his name is Loud Seabrooks, and through him, I've talked to a number of people and outside of him as well. And one thing that the one thread that runs through it is where people get, I want to say it's the right way, where people let outside influences affect them, and they can't resist it. Or
So,
they don't resist it.
Outside influences, let's talk about that a little bit. So the war on drugs, the crack epidemic, all that was outside influences that targeted the black community, that took the black man out of the household. What was welfare reform bill? Like, all of these things were ways, even when President Johnson came in, was it the New Deal where they made it that you can pass down your public housing apartment? So you made it easy for families to pass down generational
It wasn't a new
poverty.
deal, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Well, I don't deny
Mass
that
incarceration.
I don't deny that there. I don't deny
Racial
any of that.
profiling.
I don't deny it. But what I'm saying is that if we keep holding on to that, it's hard for us to move forward.
But these are still systems that affect us today.
That affects some today. You know?
I will argue that it affects all of us. We just don't see it. And I say that because when you look at a federal government that can put a law as soon as the Asian Americans, they come together, oh, we're being discriminated against, it's a law. Bam. You better not discriminate against an Asian American. Where's our law? How long have we been sitting here being abused, oppressed?
What law? What law?
The law that
law would you
Biden
want?
put.
What law would you want them to put in place? Yeah, what law would you want them to put in place?
Something's making it terrorizing white supremacist groups. They're terrorist groups. Why haven't they been deemed terrorist groups yet?
Some have.
They're still here.
Oh, you can't
They're
get
still
rid of
here.
them. You can't get rid of the KKK.
Look at January 6th. If that was black people, what you think would happen?
Well, but I can't speculate about that because it wasn't black people. I hear what you're saying, though. I'm not. The next thing you're telling me, we deserve reparations.
The thing
You know?
is, I really do. Yeah, we do.
Oh, boy. Okay.
But we
I got
also
something. I got something to say.
We need to know how to use those reparations as well.
Listen.
I think we're talking about a system that was never meant for us. And we have to get black people to a space where we love ourselves, where we're able to look past our differences, where we're able to build wealth together, create investment groups, and then in turn truly buy back the block. I'm so tired of hearing people say buy back the block, but what you buying?
Exactly.
You putting up a pop-up and with a bounce house, that's not buying back the block. So come on, let's get serious about really investing in property, changing zoning laws, and just zoning laws.
Well, last week, last week? Yeah, the week before last, I had a show called The Black Church. And my premise was, is the black church helping or hurting black culture? One of the things that have changed, in my humble opinion, is that with the black church is not in the forefront of anything anymore. You know, instead of being in the forefront of bringing people together and unifying people, they're in the forefront of trying to gain political power. Okay, I have a problem with church and state being combined. I have a huge problem with that, and I'll always speak up against it. But because the church has gone another way, and because the church is becoming political, and also trying to become a profitable business, even though they're a nonprofit. You know, it has skewed a lot of the it has skewed the intentions of certain people. I'm against reparations because one, it happened so long ago. If it happened 30 or 40, 60 years, okay, yeah, I get it. But we're talking 160 years ago, you know. So I have a problem with that. And who will get the reparations? How would you spin it out. I know California is trying to put a bill through. Blah blah blah. That's crazy. It's gonna fail. But we have to do for us. We have to do for us. Where are our banks? There's a lot of churches right here that if they come together, they can put a bank together. They can put a bank together. They can buy housing. They can buy. The federal funding will give you money. It will give you money like this. They're just waiting to do it.
I'm so happy you brought this up because I'm actually. So my church is doing that. Mm-hmm. Zion Baptist Church. My pastor is Reverend Dr. Tremaine Johnson, and he is the president of the Coalition for Concerned Clergy. Mm-hmm. And this group, when the families were removed from Sealoft apartments, they put people on housing. They connected people connected people with landlords, people who had never been in a house, got a house for the first time. Mm-hmm. They fed people through that whole ordeal, but it's something that he does or they do ongoing. They encourage their church, their congregations, because it's a coalition of about 40, 50 churches, but they encourage all their congregations to get involved in the voter process, to get involved in just engaging in your community and coming outside the church walls. So what we have actually started doing is starting a narrative of bringing investors together. We're in the middle of, my church is in the middle of the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, and we started the community garden there as well. With the Choice Neighborhood Initiative, there's so much attention on that area. It's an opportunity zone. It's a hub zone. Businesses are coming like crazy. We want to be in a position where we can buy the block, where we can actually dictate the businesses that are in our community, that we can say we are a force and really be that stand that we're not going to let nobody come and play with us, and we're going to be the blueprint. We look at Hilton, and Hilton has a group of maybe 2 or 3 women that have bought multi-million-dollar grants to that area, have bought food on farmers markets, festivals that bring in revenue for their community.
Right. What's
stopping us from doing it? They have the blueprint, so why aren't we working together? And that's where I'm not complaining. I'm bringing us together because I'm tired of that narrative.
Okay, just so you know, I'll do the complaining. Okay, and I'll do the complaining. It's because.
But more of us need to do that.
I agree. And with our clergy, if they could do what you're saying as a group, without trying to be singled out and not trying to take, look what we did, and not, and none of that stuff. I would be all for it. But I see that's, and congratulations on what you guys are doing. Okay, it'd be nice to have a name and could get them on the show. But that okay. But I'm gonna keep hitting you with that. Okay, because next time you're sitting in church, I power by Virginia. Let me talk to Al.
Y'all go coach.
let me text him now about this. You need to talk to so and so. Yeah. But we are lacking the will. We have. I'm going to skip ahead here. Black relationships with young people. Where are they? Without black relationships amongst our young people, then everything falls apart. I see women saying, "Hey, we don't need." We don't need no man, blah 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 blah. We don't need man, blah blah. And I hear the guys saying that well, women, they ain't loyal. And all. I mean, it's. I'm so glad I'm not young out there trying to date. I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And it's just that we seem to have gone left. Mm-hmm. We seem to have gone left. And we need to solve our own problems. You've heard me say on the show before. I'll keep saying it. Black people, we need to solve our own problems. We need to let the government go. If we need to raise our own money. Mm-hmm. Okay, we need to put up our own housing. We need to put on bank. And we used to have all those things. Mm-hmm. Getting back to what you were saying earlier, I'm gonna go back a little ways. Mm-hmm. We used to have all those things.
Yeah. Downtown Newport News, we used to have the Crown Savings Bank. Mm-hmm. Black brothers came together to build that bank for us. The waterfront, Mr. William Pickett, he was a trombone player for Duke Ellington. He actually bought that beach that they call King Lincoln Park now. He bought that area for black people because we didn't have anywhere to go before the Great White and Jew Flight.
You had Bay Shore.
Well, yeah.
In
But
Hampton.
it's a lot in Newport News.
Oh,
Right there where we're on the waterfront. But so just I feel I understand what you're saying. I really do. And it goes to what I initially said, like no one's coming to save us. We have to be able to step outside ourselves, to share our stories, to share our talents, to share our just knowledge on how to move forward. Um, we're buying a house. We're actually buying a campus. I have some land on the Eastern Shore, and we're building a family campus.
what part of Eastern Shore?
Accomack County.
Oh, okay. No, my family's from Cape Charles. That's what I'm asking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Northampton County, which has been gentrified. Like,
Oh,
it's expensive.
you're telling me?
Oh, my goodness.
You're telling me?
I had uncles that stayed out there. We can't even go afford to visit anymore. It's
We're not
expensive.
going to talk about that right now. That's another show, folks. Trust me.
But just empowering people and sharing the knowledge that we have. I tell everybody everything. Like, the programs that's going on at Brooks Crossing is there because our mouths are advocating and saying this is what we need in our community. And the more of us, I always tell people, the more of us that know better, share it. Don't be scared. Be proud. Boldly share your story. Boldly say, well, I wasn't a homeowner, but this is what it took to get there. So other people can be encouraged. Oh, I didn't have the right job, but I worked and I took this workforce development program, and now I have a good job. The young lady that you were talking about with the sons, maybe, okay, the military, we understand she might not want them in the military, but does she know about the What's Next program? Does she know about the adult prep programs? Does she know that Virginia Peninsula Community College is building a maritime trades, because it's a big push for maritime trades now.
Nobody wants to get in that.
I don't know why. I don't see the money. I don't know, but but like, does she know of the resources that are available to her? I remember I got into connecting people with resources because I remember, like, yesterday I was going to social services. It was after I had my last child. And I was asking them for programming, and they were like, oh, you don't want that. And she threw some CNA class at me. And I was like, I don't even like blood. Why you giving me this? But it took me now realizing that because of her perception of me, or what she thought my worth was.
I'm assuming she was white.
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Okay. That's
so. But because of that, her perception of me, she only offered me what she thought I should have, instead of saying, hey, there's something called community organizing that you might be really good for. Once I found out about community organizing, I took off. Connecting people, teaching people. That's my passion. But it wasn't exposed to me until my 30s.
Wow.
So just imagine if we share these stories, and a 17, 18-year-old with their energy learns to be an organizer, and they're out here talking to you about voting, out here talking to you about generational wealth building, out here talking to you about getting commercial lots, buying real estate, investing in real estate. Our children are smart. They just need the opportunity. I
agree with you on that one. I totally agree with that. And there are a lot of opportunities out there that we don't know about. One of the things, I'll give you a quick point here. I was driving this guy. I was on this young white guy, and he had just graduated from college. He was working in the military. I said, "Oh, okay, sis. Well, thank you for your service." He said, "Well, I don't really serve." I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Well, I am military. I work with a contractor, and blah blah." I said, "Well, how did he find you?" He said, "Well, just before I graduated from William and Mary, they came and offered it."
Yeah.
Now, folks, I was in Howard University. Long ago, that didn't happen.
Wow.
Okay.
At Howard University?
Yeah. No. They came to recruit us for military, but they didn't say that you'd have to. They didn't. The job that he's talking about, where he has to fly, he has to fly all over the country, sometimes the world. They said they foot the bill here, they foot the bill. This young boy got out of William and Mary, and I drove him to his 4-bedroom home. Yeah. Okay, in Yorktown.
They want to keep us working.
And so so believe me, I understand what Uganda's saying, and I agree with most of it. But my point is that we need to be. Well, let me just reverse that. Okay. Let me just reverse that. The guy that young white man, let's say before they go to William and Mary, they go to Norfolk State. Okay. And in Norfolk State, maybe there are people walking around with pants hanging on their butts. Maybe there are people walking around cursing and swearing. Maybe there are people, doing, etc. And you might say, these are not the kind of people that we want. Nothing to do with skin color. Nothing to do with skin color. It's just you have to represent a company. And can a company trust you to represent their name, their brand? And see, people don't think about that. Okay? And you have to, the jobs will come when the companies believe that you can represent them. Because there's no company in America that I'm aware of that will not hire you if they feel that you can represent them well. And usually race doesn't, at this particular point, race doesn't come into play. Now are they going to prejudge you? Every interviewer does that. But if they go on a college campus, you're walking from your car through the college campus to where you're going to recruit, and you see all this stuff going on. Okay, and I'm talking about, and I know someone's gonna call me. You pointing out Norfolk State. Yeah, that's right, buddy. I was on campus. 757-964-9367. 757-964-9367. If you got something to say, okay. And what all I'm saying is that it's just it's just a kind of a different world.
It is a different world, but I think one of the beautiful things that Black Americans have is the ability to code switch. It's ability that we know how to act accordingly depending on where we're at. So the same way that you see us on the street isn't the same way that we will conduct ourselves in business. Now, hopefully on that college campus, the children would have been, the students would have been warned about, hey, there's a recruiter, well, I mean, and the ones that wanted that opportunity, certain departments, and the ones that were interested in that opportunity are the ones that came in dressed appropriately.
Well, that's what we hope. But what I'm saying is that if you're walking, okay, I was an executive recruiter for a long time. Okay, all I did was hire people, vetted people, and all that kind of stuff. And the interview started long before I got to the college campus. When I spoke to professors, when I spoke to it started. That's when the interview started. I haven't met anybody yet. Then I walked through the campus, nice campus, etc. Hello, sir, how are you? How are you doing? Blah 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 blah. And they're acting. I'm like, this is because there are certain campuses that I don't recruit from.
Why is that?
What's that? Because trying to get the type of people that we wanted, and we didn't get a high rate of return. Okay. So I would fly into a certain area, sometimes a college, whatever. I would interview over a course of 3 to 3 days. Let's say 75 people, okay, etc. And then I was only able to recommend, let's say out of 75 people, I was able to recommend 6. Not a high rate of return. Okay. So I wouldn't go back to that particular location. Okay. And there may be a lot of reasons for that. However, as a recruiter, I don't really care.
That's true.
Okay, because you got me on a plane. I flew all the way out there. I'm in a hotel where I don't want to be. My wife is somewhere is at home. I could be laid up with her. And I got to sit there and talk to your dumb ass.
Well,
you're in college and acting like you to let somebody owe you something.
Absolutely.
How much does it pay?
So you have to learn how to deal with different generations, right? So different generations. I know someone like in that generation, they would feel all that energy. You don't want to be there. You're not excited about the opportunity you bring in.
Now you're wrong. Now you're trying to flip it on me. No. I was always a consummate professional, man. I was excited to do this stuff, man. Especially when I went on Black campus. I was excited, And then you said, "How you doing?" Yeah, first, man, you got to tell me how much is the money, man. Excuse me. How much you pay? Okay. I think we start off in the wrong direction. Let me just tell you what the job is. Man, if the job don't pay what I want, man, I don't want nothing about the job no way. And I'm thinking, well, you're not going to ever get the job, so I'm just talking. You're not going to get it because I'm just talking. But that's what I'm talking about. Those types of things there. Okay. And so that's why I want to flip. So looking through the recruiter's eyes or whoever it's a different world than what you're saying. I know you the coding that you're talking about. Yeah. But the recruiter doesn't care about that.
Well, hopefully that opportunity will come back to the young person when they're ready.
I could care less. Okay, but I'm not trying to be mean or disrespectful. I know somebody's gonna hit me on the website or Facebook or whatever. Yeah, you don't like. They're gonna say you don't like black schools. I graduated from a black school. Well, you don't like black people. I am a black person. Okay, so let's not go there. Now, Brooks Crossing. Brooks Crossing. I read the article when it first came out. Brooks Crossing was going to be a link between the community and between education, jobs, and all those types of things, etc. And for a minute, it was. We had a good... I went out there and I helped them campaign. Man, in the cold. It was freezing. And nobody showed up.
So Brooks Crossing has been there for 4 years now. I believe we're going on our 5th year now. And what's beautiful about Brooks Crossing is it's a partnership. So the bottom floor is dedicated to the community, where the top floors are where the shipyard engineers are. So the bottom floor on the left-hand side, Suite 102, is opportunities. And that's where we have like the adult prep class. We have navigating wealth. We have resume building classes, different things. The other side is the Innovation Center, and that's that is a partnership between Old Dominion University, the City of Newport News, and the shipyard. And that side was for the community to come in to be able to access innovative tools. Like we had sewing classes in there. We have a studio. The studio was because the community's mouth was at the table, because the city's not going to put anything like that in a building. But
you have to explain to me how sewing is innovative. But go ahead.
Sewing? Are you serious? Do you
I'm
know
serious.
how many girls are into fashion? Men that's into fashion? How many people have made money? I need you to go visit.
I don't know
Vicky.
anything about that.
I need you to go visit Vicky's creations on Jefferson. It's a thing. It's a real thing.
Okay.
But it's just so many innovative things in there. Woodworking. It was printers, 3D printers. We even had DJ Rick G's.
Yeah, I saw it all.
Yep, he's there. He's doing his internship there and offering some classes.
Okay. So what happened?
So I guess about a few months ago, they went under some changes or something. I'm not sure what, but I do know what. I know that Old Dominion received grants for our iLab, and then they removed certain personnel and brought people in that weren't from our community. And that person put barriers and said that, hey, we can't do walkthrough tours anymore. And, hey, we're not doing one-on-ones and this and that. So the true essence of what Brooks Crossing was there has been lost. I'm happy to say through our advocacy, they are starting like nights where they're doing an innovative night. The flyers there is open to the public, lab modules, robotics, things like that. But even in them creating this.
Can you see that, Rose?
Even when them creating this, what was initially there, the programs, the tools that were initially there, it was because the people was at the table. There was advisory committee. This here is what someone decided we wanted in our community and decided to bestow it on us. And I have an issue with that because people are fulfilling grants instead of connecting the resources with the children that are right across the street.
Sister, you're preaching to the choir. Yeah. Well, listen. I've been to Brooks Crossing a number of times there and trying to help out, etc. It was a fascinating place. I really liked it when I first went there. as far as the shipyard being on the second floor and not coming on the first floor, I saw them all the time on the first floor. Okay, but they were supposed to be there to help the community and help certain people gain certain skills, is what I understood. They had a big article about it when it first came out.
We had a good run and then COVID happened.
All I can tell you is that when I was there on Christmas, they were African or whatever, nobody showed up.
This past Christmas?
Yes.
What was going on?
Christmas. I can't.
Was it like an event or what was it?
It was. They were having some kind of. They were advertising some kind of program, etc. I was just there, interviewing people and so forth, and shouting out Brooks Crossing for the program that they had.
Yeah.
But nobody showed up.
A lot of
people drove by. It's like, what are y'all doing?
A lot of it is their marketing. Right now, the past director that was there, she was really good. Like, she would come out, knock on doors in Marshall Courts herself. She wasn't scared of the community. She'll come and share information. But the new people that are there,
I'm assuming that you're saying that she wasn't scared of me. It means that she was white.
No.
She's black.
Yes.
Okay.
We're
doctor.
Doctor. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. From
Dr.
Portsmouth, and amazing.
Dr. J.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right.
She was amazing.
Yeah, she was. I know her.
And she was a foot soldier for the community. She made sure that the space was open for the grassroots partners, even the grassroots partners that received the gun violence money from the city, that the city done vetted and said they're okay. She let them come in and use space in there to be able to do their programs. All of that has stopped under this new person. So we have to keep fighting for the spaces that are there for us. Keep advocating for the resources that are there, that grant money is received for, that they hold that.
Listen, Brooks Crossing is a grant writing machine.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it's about, and I can say that. Okay, and that's what they're doing. Okay, there was, as far as them helping the community, etc. If it's help, it's very light help. And this is, once again, one man's opinion. Uganda has nothing to do with this. Okay, this is not Uganda
already
speaking.
in
This
enough
is me.
trouble.
But but it started off with a bang, and it started to end with a whimper, and that's a shame. Once again, another one of our programs that's supposed to benefit our community that has been taken over by people that don't look like us.
Exactly. And one thing that, I'm sorry not to cut you off, but one thing that was shared with me, because when stuff like this happens, I sat down, like, you're going to have a meeting with me and we're going to talk about what's going on. And when I sat down, one thing was real interested, and new leadership said that, oh, well, we service all 7 cities. And I'm like, okay.
No, they don't.
But what about the children that are right next door? So they're busing in children for the summer programs and stuff like that. But again, the children that are right across the street at Marshall Courts, where is the pipeline so that they have activities to do during the summer?
Take a look at this. The first thing it says on here is it talks about Brooks Crossing, and the first thing you see on there under summer family nights is free food. That's the advertising. Free food. Now, if I'm looking at this, all I'm looking at is between 6 and 8, I'm going to get free food. I don't know what they're doing or whatever, but it's free food. I don't know about y'all, but I feel insulted. I really do. Because they're not producing anything. They're not doing anything. And once again, I'm going to say this for the final time. We need to patrol, to teach and educate ourselves. We cannot ask someone else to do it because they never will. They never have.
That's right.
All right.
And the same grants that they get to be able to build these buildings, we can get them as well. I work with some phenomenal grant writers, and we've been really working as a collaborative to be able to do what we already do well.
I would love to sit with the grant writers and see what they do and how they do it, since I was at your grant writing class. But but that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. I know you're not going to include me. But anyway,
I want to make sure I have a solid spot for you every month on my calendar.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. But folks, listen. What we're talking about right now is just basically we're talking about different things that concerns our community, and that's what this show is about. You guys know we talk about black culture, we talk about what concerns our community, etc. You know, we have, we're not talking about gun violence on this particular show. Okay, that's not Uganda's thing, that's our thing. You know, but one is not more important than the other. So please, I'm gonna let Uganda close out the show, but understand that you need to participate. Understand that you need to reach out. You need to be there. Find out what's going on in your own community. A lot of you don't even know. You know, activate. There you go. There you go, Rose. You know, a lot of you don't know what's going on in your community. There's tons of things that are happening that you don't know about. Okay, and I'm gonna let Uganda close the show, and also let them know how they can contact you.
Sure. So I just thank you for the opportunity to
Sure.
be up here and just talk and vibe with you for a little bit. I was reading a comment up there about the teacher.
I can't see that far.
Achievable Dreams Elementary School. Shout out to Achievable Dreams. My daughter
Achievable
graduated.
Dreams, yeah, baby.
My daughter graduated from there, which she is now a world-renowned hairstylist.
Oh,
Put that out
excuse
there.
me. World
So,
renowned.
yes, she is an entrepreneur. So I just thank you for this opportunity to be able to rock with you and just vibe, talk about empowerment and where we are as a black people. I think the more that we open up narratives like this and open up a safe space that we
Right.
can really have conversations that we might not agree, but we can respectfully move on because we know it's about the greater good. But the more that we understand that we are all we need. We are all we need.
I totally agree with that. That's one thing she and I will agree on. And,
we are all we need.
Folks, let's do it for ourselves. Let's do it because we need to do it for your kids. Like I said, yeah, you're right, Rose. We got the power. We can do this. There's no reason why we can't stop depending on the government, because the government wants you to depend on them.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Not only just tax, but you put the same people in office over and over again, expecting different results. That's crazy.
We're the cycle. Like, if black people stand up and say we're no longer going to be the consumer, but we're only going to buy from black people, do you imagine what that would do to the economy?
I've been imagining that for 40 years. It hadn't happened. But that's a great point. Case in point, I went to George's restaurant yesterday.
Shout out to George's.
George's
That's my
restaurant,
cousin.
baby.
Kirk is my cousin. Hey.
Yeah, it'd be nice if I knew that. You could have him on the show, but someone told me. Okay. But anyway, George's restaurant they had really, really good food. We were doing takeout. We were sitting at the bar instead of doing takeout. They said it was really, really good. It was on a Sunday, so they didn't have everything going, but it was still a nice place. It was good to see a black business opening up in style.
Yes.
They had a ribbon cutting. So I mean, they opened up in the South.
They had Bobby Brown.
Yeah, they had Bobby Brown.
Yeah, he came for the grand opening.
Was he trying to?
With his seasoning. Don't do Bobby.
Y'all saw him on YouTube. Yeah, I said it, Bobby. What you gonna do?
I love you, Bobby. Don't
Yeah, you need to lose weight. We gonna step to me, boy. It's like who you gonna call, Bobby? Anyway, but it's good to see a black business start out like that, and I'm gonna support them as much as I can, as well as other black businesses. Okay, to the black businesses out there, provide customer service. Okay, because that's where y'all lack at. Okay, to the waitresses that work there, I don't need no attitude. All right, please, just step up and be better. Years ago, before most of you were born, there was a restaurant called Sylvia's in New York City, and my wife and I used to go there when I was married, and man, that place was packed. It was open 7 days a week. It was packed every night.
Really?
It was in Harlem.
She must have good customer service.
What's that?
Good customer service.
I can't remember. All I remember is the food.
Is that the same lady that does like the Sylvia Greens and the packages? That's in.
I think she passed away, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Right.
But it was called Sylvia's Restaurant, and she was always there. She'd always walk around, say hello, talk to people, etc. It was a great place, and we need more of those types of places, more of that type of service. Alrighty, so please, if you're a black company, okay, contact me. contact me here. We'll get you on there. We'll hype your company. Also, we're trying to do we're putting together a consortium of services. You know, Friends of Power by Virginia.
All right.
Okay,
Very good.
so I will let you know about that. Hopefully, she'll pick up the phone when I call. And you know, but we're trying. But you know, for us, by us is not just a phrase. It's a mantra. It's a belief. It's what it's what keeps you focused. You know, for us, by us. I love that phrase. I really do. You know, so we want you guys to. So please, if you know of a black business. Okay, and I know somebody putting together something on Facebook. I heard somebody do the Black Book. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Yeah. You know, I keep forgetting the name of it. You know, but we need more black books. We need more black books. We need more black business. We need to do it ourselves. You know, and just for the record, then I'm gonna call for my music, Rose. You know, just for the record, everyone's not cut out for college. And I hear parents always talking about college. Everyone's not cut out for college. You know, I went to college. Nothing wrong with it if that's your thing. You know, I was talking earlier about my youngest daughter. She was she was offered full rides. She was offered full rides, and she came to me and said, "Dad, I'm not sure about college." I said, "Why? What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, I'm not sure if I'm mature enough for college."
Wow.
That's what I said. And I said, and we talked about it, and she decided that after a couple, I said, "It's your decision." But we talked about it. I gave her the pros and cons. I told her about college, what my experience was, etc. She talked to other people about that, you know. And what happened was she ended up going into the military. She goes into the Air Force. She said, She said, "Dad, let me grow up a little bit, and let me come back to college."
Wow.
You know, yeah.
It saved you some money.
That was one. Yeah, well, yeah, I didn't say that.
Exactly.
My little girl. Okay.
But that was very mature for her to make.
That was very mature. Yeah. Well, you know.
And then even parents, if your child hasn't figured it out, I know like me and my husband, our children didn't want to go to college, but they had to have a plan. Yeah. So my husband marched them right over to, what was it, babe? Tidewater Staff. He was like, okay, well, they're going in the shipyard. And from there, they kind of learned their passions. My daughter loved it. She loves math, so pipe fitting made sense for her. My son, he grew up welding because of my father and his fabrication business. Right. So my son went into welding school, but then he ended up leaving. He was like, that's not for me. And now he is a behavioral specialist. He wants to be a nurse in this nursing system, and it works for him. All right. So allowing your children that time to be able to just figure themselves out. We didn't kick our children out at 18. I wanted them to stay. I still want them to be with me. But you got to allow them that time to really figure it out. And then we let them know you're not leaving this house renting, but you're actually going to be a homeowner because we're breaking some bonds when you leave the house, because I have the knowledge now. So now it's my responsibility to make sure that they apply that knowledge.
Okay. Yugonda, how can they reach you?
All right. So we are on social media.
Name of your company?
Empower All is EMPOWER All. And we are on social media, Facebook, Instagram. I don't really do a lot with TikTok. I'm trying to figure that out. But we also have a website, empowerallva.org. And then you can always call. The phone number is 757-214-4843.
Say the number one more time.
757-214-4843.
So if I call that number, I can get you?
You actually can. Or text. Text is always good.
And I'm going to get that number from you. Okay. All right. Folks, listen, thank y'all for stopping by. The Yugonda Sample-Jones, former city councilman, former city council candidate. Okay, currently the president CEO of Empowerment All, and she's just a great lady with a lot of information. Okay, so if you guys need some information, she's the one you want to talk to, particularly if you're in the South Newport News. Okay,
they gotta come out Saturday.
And she what's going on Saturday?
So we having our first annual East End Hoops basketball tournament. It's going to be at Anderson Park, and this is a beautiful park. If you haven't been there, it's right on the waterfront.
Oh yeah, I've seen it. On
16th Street. So we're getting started about 9:00. I want y'all to come out and support, and then at 3:00, go see my brothers, Chris, Gotti, and them. They're having their annual baseball game at Briarfield
Park, baby.
And y'all will be there. Y'all
Power by Virginia will be there. That's right.
Y'all didn't come to mine, but that's
we
okay.
weren't invited. But
you were.
Well, no one invited me. I didn't get a call. I didn't get a call.
Let me
Nobody
talk
told me.
loud.
Anyway. But listen, guys. This is one man's opinion here, okay? This is Let Me Say Something podcast. Y'all know me. I'm Bigg AL H.N.I.C. The music is about to come. Rose, take us out.
Powered by Virginia. Radio.